Hey everyone, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. Today I'm going to talk about Gen X's favorite apocalypse. And this is going to be a series. I'm going to go through and talk about each flavor of apocalypse, each kind of apocalypse we could possibly have. Maybe we could vote on them in the comments or something. I'm going to start out with what is statistically the most likely one to happen. And it just happens to be my favorite one. It's the CME, coronal mass ejection or solar flare, and it basically just wipes out the power grid and sends us back to the Stone Age. It doesn't kill people, doesn't kill a bunch of people or anything. It only harms electronics. I'd like to say something specifically about these videos. These aren't meant to scare anybody or anything. It's not that kind of stuff. It's just I just find this stuff interesting. I watch videos and documentaries and movies on this kind of stuff, and I think that y'all might find it interesting too. So I like to talk about stuff that I find interesting. Not trying to scare anybody or clickbait or anything like that. I'm just, talking about stuff that I find interesting. So that's my motivation behind it. So in the event of a coronal mass ejection, what happens is the sun will release a burst of energy basically, and particles and stuff, and it'll fly through. It does it constantly, but once in a while one of those hit Earth. The last really big one to hit Earth was back in the late 1800s, but back then the only thing they had were those telegraph systems. They did by Morse code, dee 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 dee, that stuff. So, and it fried those, but it didn't. That's all the damage it really did. So it wasn't a big deal back then, and that's called a Carrington event, or a Carrington level event maybe. But if that were to happen now, it would completely shut down all communications, kill the internet, all power grids, everything. It would just go dark. You wouldn't be able to talk to anyone, except face to face. Computers wouldn't work. Vehicles with computer chips in them wouldn't work. Anything with a computer chip or electronic like that would shut down. Probably the old cars without any computer chips or anything in them, they would work. I don't know how that would affect the battery though. How a CME would affect the battery. It might destroy the battery. I don't know. You might have to push start it. That's basically what it would do. And the thing about the CME is that the odds of it happening grow greater every day. It's going to happen. We just don't know when. All right. And then on top of that, we've got the fact that a nuclear device, a nuclear warhead, causes an EMP2, an electromagnetic pulse, which does the same thing. So any foreign country with a tugboat or whatever can come over into the ocean and launch a missile up into the atmosphere and explode it up there. And the EMP would come down and fry the electronic or the electric grid. You know what I mean? Do the same thing. So there's two ways that can happen. People can do it as well as the sun. So that would basically throw us back to the Stone Age. And we'd be, starting fires to cook our food and stuff like that, And actually, Dennis Quaid is a big advocate for this because he knows that it has to happen. It's going to happen. There's 100% certainty that it will happen. We just don't know when. And he's trying to get the power companies to fortify, to harden their grid against that kind of attack or that kind of event. And they won't do it because, of course, if the power companies spent money to do that, their profits wouldn't go up next year. Like, they'd only make 120 million just like they did last year. They wouldn't make 130 million, and they can't have that. So they're just leaving it alone. They're ignoring it. That's where we are with that. They're not hardening their systems against this kind of thing. Of course, I'm sure the government has bunkers and stuff and power that's hardened against it, just not us, just not the regular people. I watched World War Z last night, which is a zombie movie, but still there was a scene in there that really strikes home about any of this stuff. Brad Pitt takes his family in a store with a pharmacy in it to get asthma medicine for his girl, and he's back there getting the asthma medicine, and he has his wife getting groceries, food. And then he hears her start screaming and stuff, so he runs over there, and these guys, a couple of guys, are trying to take her or take something she's got or something. It's not real clear. But anyway, the guy ends up shooting at him, and Brad Pitt shoots the guy and kills him. And then a cop shows up. A cop comes running through there. Police officer. So Brad Pitt, of course, thinks that he's coming for him. He's running right toward Brad Pitt. So Brad Pitt puts his arms up like that, go ahead and arrest me. I'm not resisting. But the cop runs right past him and starts getting canned goods off the shelf. So that would be a big part of it, because our emergency services, fire department, police, the people who would supposed to fix the electrical grid, the linemen that work for the power company, they would have to protect and feed their own families and themselves. They would, after so much time, a week or whatever, it would come to that. And there wouldn't be anybody to call for help. It would just be you and your resourcefulness, your self-reliance, your skills, your determination. That's it. Because it would be at that point when the police are looting stores for canned goods, it's dog eat dog. You can't call 911 anyway, even if you wanted to, and even if the power does come back on and the phone communications come back on, it's too late. They're not police officers anymore. They're scavengers just like the rest of us. We got to remember that in that kind of event. Now, there's a certain amount of time that a civilized human being has to wait before you realize that it's just every person for themselves. You know what I mean? You can't just, have a power outage and go out and start looting. You can't do that. You can't go, kicking your neighbor's door in because the lights flickered. Yeah, no, we can't do that. You got to give yourself an adequate amount of time. So that's part of the reason you want to have some supplies, at your home and be ready to weather a week or two of, some bad times, because we don't want to do, make bad decisions, because we watch a lot of post-apocalyptic movies and stuff and videos like this. So no, but you have to be ready to defend yourself against people who might go off the rails too soon, people who did not prepare for a week or two. And that in that kind of situation, I would try to get out of any really densely populated areas. I would just try to get out of there, because there's no zombie virus, there's no, nuclear war, there's no foreign boots invading America, anything like that. It just, the power went out, and that means all the trucking industry stops. As soon as the food's gone out of the stores, that's it. There isn't any more coming. It's just going to be people are going to be the only thing that you really have to worry about, is other people. So the less unknown people that you don't trust around you, you know what I mean, the safer you will be. You want to be in a community of people that you do trust, because that will increase your odds of survival. But just being around a bunch of strangers in a densely packed city, I don't think that would be a good idea. That's precisely why you want to be mobile. You want to be able to, grab a bag and get out in a hurry. Not, you don't want to have to go out looking amongst all the people out there scavenging and looting. You don't want to be out there with them, because it's high probability that something will go wrong and you won't make it, even if accidents even happen when that kind of crazy stuff is going on. You don't want to be out there in that. You want to have your stuff ready to mobilize right away. So as soon as it happens, you can get out. Then if the lights come back on and everything, you just come back. Think of it as a camping trip or something. But as far as equipment and stuff goes, you want to have stuff that is not electronic. Even a lot of generators nowadays have, push button start and stuff. You want to make sure that you can pull it to start it. But then I don't know how good an idea, I don't know how safe it would be to run a generator in a situation like that, because everybody could hear it and it'd be like a dinner bell. You know what I mean? You'd have to be real careful with that, especially in a populated environment where you got a lot of people around you that you don't know and you don't trust. So I don't know even if you did have a generator with enough gas to last you a couple weeks, you'd be very, very careful running it. But having one old car that you could push start in the event that the battery got burnt up or something, by the CME, anything older and pre-electronic and digital age will probably still work. And you can get gasoline. You don't want to for those of you who don't know, gasoline now has ethanol in it, which is corn, and that gasoline goes bad really quickly. What you want is pure old style 70s gasoline before they started putting that corn in it, because the corn in the gasoline makes it go bad quickly. And I don't know if that's by design, so you have to buy more, you know what I mean? You can't store it. Regular old style gasoline is still available, you just have to find it in your area. I know where they sell it, a couple different places in my area. For a frame of reference, they sell it at a fishing camp place. There's a restaurant there and a place to dock your boats and stuff, so it's a marine kind of thing for boats. And I guess those run better because boats, you put gas in your gas tank in a boat, and you might not, once you park it, you might not touch it again for 6 months until the next time you go out to go fishing. So they sell, regular old style gasoline there that doesn't go bad. So that's what people use in their boats, because they don't use their boats like we do our cars. Our cars, we just run that stuff out, no problem. But in a boat might sit for 6 months or a year. So that ethanol gasoline isn't a good idea to be putting in a boat. So if you have a place like that, you might be able to get good gasoline from there. It's a little more expensive, but it's worth it to have, a few gallons sitting around. But an older car and some good old style gasoline will get you, at least get you out of a highly populated area and get you somewhere safe in the event of an emergency like that. And those things will still work during any kind of emergency, whether it be a hurricane or whatever, So it's not a bad idea to have those kind of things sitting around just in case. And I'll leave you there. If I've forgotten anything, if there's something you think should be added to this, then please put them down in the comments. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by pressing on the thanks button down below this video, or you can hop over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I'll put that link down in the description. If you're interested in Gen X gear, you can head over to Redbubble and check out that stuff. There's some pretty cool stuff over there, stickers and t-shirts, coffee mugs, stuff like that. And I'll put that link down in the description too. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out a lot, and I thank everybody who does that. I really appreciate it. And if you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments. I really enjoy doing those user-inspired videos. It's one of my favorite things to do. So thank you for everyone who has done that, and thank you for doing that in the future. And as always, Stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.